We are going to keep going to get through this, and one more thing, so let's just buckle down. I'm sorry to rush, but we have so much business still to do, and we have 2 days left. I don't think I'll be a commissioner at the 4-day assembly next year. On to section 29. David Slater, is it a vital comment you wish to make? Let's go for it.
Moderator, just not to let this
Name
rumble
and number.
through. It's David Slater, 172. Not to let this rumble through, but to take an opportunity. We've talked earlier about church planting and encouraging that, and I still would encourage that, but to be thankful for the work of various NCDs, whether they've gone on to grow and thrive and get full status, whether they've gone into unions, become mission initiatives or whatever else, or whether they've had a life and then that's concluded. I think it's important to note all the good work that was done. I was a part of a New Charge Commission in Wallace Well, and so I wanted to make that point. Thank you.
That's very helpful. Thank you very much. Does the Assembly accept section 29 of the report? And online? Section 30, no company down. Does the Assembly accept section 30? And online, section 31. Thank you. And online, and that's the whole report of the Faith Action Programme leadership team. Does the Assembly accept the full deliverance? No. Okay. Right, we move on to the joint report. You have to hold back your approval of the whole thing. Let's go on to the joint report of the Faith Action Programme leadership team and the Legal Questions Committee. Is there someone going? Is this you, Marjorie? Delighted to have you on board. Thank you. Do you want to come straight up and speak to it? Oh, is it Karen? You're speaking on it. Dr. Campbell.
Moderator Karen Campbell, 496, convener of PIMPIG. The joint report of the Legal Questions Committee and FAPLT has come about through many discussions in many fora, including conversations with presbyters and presbyteries about various challenges the Church now faces, including capacity, sustainability and financial resources. I would like to thank the Principal Clerk for drawing these conversations together in this joint report. This collaborative piece of work comes under Angus Matheson's remit, and we wish him a speedy recovery from surgery, and it gives me pleasure to present the report and submit the deliverances.
Thank you very much. That's seconded. Thank you. Questions? We have questions before we receive the report. Let's have David Cameron, Sarah Smith, and then Neil Urquhart and Sarah Smith again. She's divided personality. David Cameron, Neil Urquhart, and Sarah Smith.
David Cameron, 252, a comment, because I think there is in this a little nugget for every Kirk session.
It's a question, please. You're down as a question.
I think I put it down as a comment.
Well, you'll have to wait then until after we receive the report. Question, Sarah Smith and Neil Urquhart, and then Sarah Smith. Neil? Okay. Is Sarah, is you also a comment? A question, hooray!
Yes. Sarah Smith, 262. It's actually just one question, not two. Apologies for that. I was just wondering, with regards to reviewing the basis of team ministry, how did you come up with every 5 years as a possible time limit for reviewing the basis of team ministry? Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. It's a general principle that a lot of reviewable tenures are for 5 years.
Thank you. No other questions, so we come to receive the report. Does the Assembly receive the report? We now have two comments, one from David Cameron, one from Neil Urquhart. David Cameron? Over here. You're being blocked, David. You're on now, David.
Thank you very much. David Cameron, 252. As I alluded to earlier, I am an interim moderator at the moment, helping a congregation or two or three move together and create a new Kirk session. And one of the items on our agenda is to explore how we structure ourselves moving forward into this new union. And I believe there is something in here that might be helpful for other such congregations and perhaps all Kirk sessions. And it relates to the aims and objectives of the 5-year action plan. Because what is set out before us are the areas upon which we will be measured and invited to respond on a regular basis over the years as to different areas of the church's life. And what I would suggest is that we find in here 5 ministry areas that teams could be set up with: worship, pastoral care, youth and children, mission and outreach, local and wider mission. These are 5 areas which are at the heart of all that we seek to do. And I think I'm taking back to our local situation the prospect that this might be a good basis upon which to establish teams within the new Kirk session. There is also, I note, some 4 expressions of support to the ministries noted, that in the form of finance, communications, property and staffing. So I'm grateful to you for setting out before us such a comprehensive model, and I commend it to those like myself who are going to support Kirk sessions into the whole new world that lies ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Neil Urquhart. You're on now.
Neil Urquhart, 100. Thank you to the joint report, and my references to local church review, which I think is marvellously simplified. We in South West Presbytery and the Mission Committee in particular have spent a lot of time on this. It would have been nice to have been consulted on this, and I'm glad to say that we come to the same conclusion, that it needs simplification. The only thing that we have thought about, perhaps more than what is referred to in the report in regards to the local church review, is that while it refers to mission, we are going to be, I hope, certainly recommending to South West Presbytery that we talk more about mission and discipleship. Yes, mission involves the 5 marks of mission, which are tell and train, I prefer to say rather than teach, tend, treasure, and transform. Yes, all of these 5 marks of mission are important, but unless we are intentionally discipling and apprenticing and mentoring and coaching people in Christ and helping them to grow up, certainly to come to faith, to take steps closer to Jesus. And evangelism starts long before people accept Christ and step into the kingdom. To be intentional about our discipling is so important, and it leads to an embracing of all the marks of mission. And it leads to people who are passionate about Jesus, who want to see Jesus shared as love, this extravagant love we've been celebrating. And so I'm not moving anything, but I'm just simply making that comment that, you know, after 36 years in one parish, now United Irvine, well, we're certainly in Irvine, we're working on the United, but it is really still all about, second half of my ministry, I realized in the first half of my ministry, we need to get much more down to the brass tacks of making disciples, of helping people grow up in the faith, making it understandable, making it helpful in life and living, getting people alongside each other, mentoring, coaching, discipling. So, moderator, my question is, can FAPLT, and I think I know the answer to it, but I'm asking you anyway, can FAPLT assure us that discipleship is central to the encouragement that's coming through here for this simplified local church review? Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Yes.
Thank you. We have 2 amendments to section 2. I'm going to ask the clerk to read the first one.
Thank you, moderator. We're actually going to do in the report at the moment, or wherever it is, the hub, or it is actually the amendment in the name of Ian Meyer. So it's A22. The reason for this is for doing this before Leslie Milton's amendment, proposed amendment, is simply this. If the Assembly agrees to Ian Meyer's proposed amendment, then the committee will then need to withdraw section 3 of the deliverance. Section 3 of the deliverance says, repeal the Local Church Review Act. But if what is being proposed here by Ian Meyer is accepted, then they will be withdrawing, because the Local Church Review Act will then remain in place. Otherwise, because currently, under the LCR Act, as you all know really well, 2011, beautiful act, but we're saying goodbye to it, possibly today. Every congregation should have an action plan now anyway. So I just want to make a vote clear on that. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, can you read out the amendment, please?
Thank you, moderator. So this is the amendment in the name of Ian Meyer, and
Would you like me to read it?
add at the end, subject to the following amendment, the proposed amending act, delete paragraph 6.
Okay, is that seconded? Seconded. Thank you. Is the committee mindful to accept or not? No? Thank you. Ian. You're on.
Ian Meyer, 217. Moderator, I bet that you never thought I'd be talking about LCRs and trying to promote them, but I'm sure many in the hall will also wish that I step down and let this pass and we can go back to other work and move on with our lives. But I implore you to please lend me your ears for just a moment, because I think it is important that we take some time to reflect on this. Local church review, when done badly, is at best an inconvenience and at worst damaging to the life of a congregation. When done well, it is supportive, affirming, and eye-opening. And I totally agree with the report, and I commend it when it says that LCRs have become too cumbersome and time-consuming, and which is severely backlogged within presbyteries. But what is being proposed in the report is to throw the baby out with the bathwater, despite yesterday hearing in the hall by the convener of the Assembly Trustees how important LCRs are. The proposed act states in 2A2, the Kirk session of the charge will initially prepare its action plan and then submit it to the presbytery for their evaluation, comment, and support. After consultation with the presbytery, the Kirk session will approve their 5-year action plan, and so on and so forth. There's no information that I can see in the proposed act of what the role of presbytery is. What happens if, after consulting with presbytery, the Kirk session disagrees with their comments? What are the procedures in place? Who has the final say, and why, and how, and so forth? LCR currently calls for SMART goals to live out the congregation's mission, yet the new proposal we're asking congregations to create an action plan with 4 categories across 10 areas of parish life, many of which are not very missional, encouraging of discipleship, or very smart. I embrace change, and anyone who knows me will support that. I normally rock the boat, but I find myself asking us for time. Time to do this properly, time to get it right, time to ensure that whatever we do is worth more than the piece of paper that it's written on. Time to collaborate with presbyteries to find out what plans for development are already in the pipeline, while ensuring that we have the necessary resources and procedures in place to facilitate a positive review process with congregations, and that what we create is life-giving, not life-sucking for both congregation and presbyteries. I am not trying to imply or say that what is proposed in the Act is wrong, but I am asking time to allow FAPLT and legal questions to please collaborate with presbyteries who will be the ones implementing the proposed changes and who know the congregations. Moderator, I move the amendment.
Thank you. Is that seconded? Seconded. Yes. I've got a question from Stuart Crawford, and then I'm going to ask the convener to respond.
Moderator, it's actually a comment, not a question.
Can you give your name and number, please?
Yeah, Crawford 156.
Yes.
Okay. Yesterday, in answer to my colleague Ben Thorpe's question as to what other factors were used in determining the health of us as a charity, other than financial, the convener's reply was quite emphatically the LCR process. It was the most important factor. He said it was a health check for every congregation. And I totally agree with him. The LCR is a health check on a congregation in its current form. It allows a congregation to tell their story. The LCR process creates a bridge between presbytery and congregation, where time's taken for a presbytery to hear what's going on in the life of a congregation and offer them whatever support they need to allow them to realise their mission plan. We're told that the process has become cumbersome and time-consuming. I am an LCR team leader. My own church is also going through the LCR process just now. And the visits that I have made, I've heard from other congregations that this has given them the chance to really take a look at what they've been doing, what they are doing, and what they want to do in future, and how they will achieve it with the support of presbytery where necessary. The LCR process is the only opportunity we give a congregation to tell their story, to hear it direct from them. From a presbytery point of view, it also allows a presbytery to focus on a smaller number of congregations each year, therefore gives the presbytery a greater chance to offer those congregations the support that they're looking for. To change it would mean every congregation submitting a mission plan as part of their attestation of records. I feel that this would be overwhelming for a presbytery and will have the opposite effect that is hoped from the deliverance for presbyteries to better understand, access and support their charges. So I am in favour of what has been brought to give us more time at least to look at the LCR process rather than to change it this year. Thank you, Moderator.
Thank you. Final word, Dr. Campbell, or one of the... Thank you.
We live in challenging times, and this approach is an attempt to be pragmatic. We have some presbyteries we know because the presbytery clerks have been consulted, and we know that some presbytery clerks would want to keep the local church review. And hopefully, if we are successful, you might want to get the details of LCR off the website before it disappears. But we also know that there are presbyteries, new presbyteries who have joined together, and there's a lot of them that have joined together, who are telling us it might take 10 years to roll out local church review, when we should be looking at congregations every 5 years. So this is about capacity. This is about a pragmatic approach to moving, to allowing presbyteries to do their oversight and their discipline and their encouragement appropriately. You could argue that it's actually devolving it even further down, allowing congregations to really, on a yearly, if not more, basis, really look at what they're doing and how they're doing it and how they want to be. The action plan is designed first and foremost to support congregations to discern and implement and augment missional strategies that seek to grow God's kingdom. And it can be organic and change as it needs to at a congregational level. The action plans will have to be taken and considered seriously by the presbytery and, if necessary, challenged for the Kirk session to reflect on their goals and their aims and their objectives. It is all part of the presbytery's toolbox in working with congregations. It has been widely discussed with a lot of people. It is the time to get on with it. And it doesn't say you can't keep doing LCR. What it does say is it allows really interesting ways of getting congregations to look at their mission and look at the future with the support of presbytery. And I hope the General Assembly will support us in our trying to support presbyteries and congregations.
Thank you, Convener. We are running out of time rapidly, but we need to finish this business. Ben Thorpe, you have a question. Let's take that, and then we'll take the vote.
Thank you, Moderator. Ben Thorpe, 174. Just to really, if we pass this amendment, given what it's taking out,
does that also affect deliverance 3
Yes.
of the repealing?
We said that.
So,
We said
so
that
I just
already.
want to be clear that we are.
Yes.
Will we then have to vote again, or will it then just be gone?
No.
Okay.
Deliverance 3 will be withdrawn. Right, so let's vote. We're voting for or against the amendment, and I hand ourselves over to our...
So we're voting for or against the amendment. The usual buttons, I imagine, yes. Button 1 for, button 2 against in the hall. The vote is now open.
Moderator, I do apologise, but during the course of that vote, we accidentally hit the attendance check, and therefore the systems are speaking across each other. If we could just give a moment and then restart the vote, that will be counted.
Okay. So the question was, were you more keen to get your money or to get your vote?
We're ready to go. Those who have voted on the hub, that vote is still counting.
Okay, so here we go. The vote is now open. Five seconds. The vote is now closed.
They voted for the amendment 95. They voted against the amendment 148. The amendment falls. We come to the second amendment in section 2. Principal Clerk.
Thank you, Moderator. This is in the name of Leslie Milton. It is add at the end, subject to the following amendment to the proposed amending Act, at paragraph 6 in the proposed new section 2A1, amend the 5th bullet point, currently wider mission including ecumenism and interfaith relations as applicable, to read wider mission including ecumenism, interfaith relations and relationships with the world church as applicable.
Is that seconded? The committee are happy. Is the Assembly happy? Thank you. We pass that. And is that happy online? Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Leslie Milton, for bringing that up. We're now into section 2 as amended. Stella Campbell, question? Thank you.
Moderator Stella Campbell, 331. In passing section 2 of the deliverance, as we mentioned earlier, there's a change in the definition of what is a vacant congregation. There are congregations that are currently in receipt of a vacancy allowance, which enable...
Sorry. Principal Clerk?
Thank you. Sorry, that was in the definition of vacancy was in the call and election of, well, the new Vacancy Act, which got passed earlier.
Oh, it's here. Mission Plan Act.
Oh. It's duplicated.
Sorry.
Sorry. There are congregations currently in receipt of a vacancy allowance, which enables them to fund a locum. Is there an understanding of what the time frame will be if their definition changes and they're no longer entitled to a vacancy allowance, as to when that allowance would be withdrawn, bearing in mind the impact that may have on a locum who's currently appointed?
Pardon? Thank you. That's a very helpful question. We'll ask the convener to reply to it. Thank you for raising that.
Stella, thank you for that question. The answer is it will be implemented with the new round of Giving to Grow. So it will be from the 1st of January 2026.
Thank you. Is section 2 as amended approved by the Assembly? Thank you. And online. We have a new section 3. I'll ask the clerk to read it and tell us who it's from.
It's in Torsten Koenig's name. It is note that the areas for which congregations shall provide aims, objectives, a timescale for achievement, notes of annual progress, reviews, and a traffic light indicator of status of their 5-year action plan in the amended Presbytery Mission Plan Act 8, 2021, new section 2A are listed to support congregations to comply with current legislation and to encourage them to discern their work in God's kingdom, rather than solely as an administrative exercise.
We try and keep the easy deliverances for the end. Is that seconded? Seconded. The committee are minded to accept it. I'm going to ask, is the Assembly minded to accept it? Thank you for raising that. And then we come on to section 3. Stuart Crawford, you have a question? Wish to withdraw it? We're delighted. Is the Assembly minded to accept section 3 of the deliverance? We've looked at 4 different reports while Tommy has sat there and let all his colleagues do the work. Are we ready to accept the deliverance as a whole that we've done all day? And online. Now, just before we finish with both the benediction and our sung blessing, Karen Campbell, just a word to you. You're coming to the end of your time as the convener of PIMPIG. That has not been the easiest committee. I know that your Christmas card list has been reduced over the years, and it has taken great strength of character to work collaboratively to deal with issues that you knew would bring pain, but you felt were right with your committee for the good of the church. Thank you for not cutting and running. Thank you for serving us, and bless you for your faithful service over these years as convener and vice convener on the whole group. Thank you. Two things and we're done. First of all, an enormous thanks to you for the second day in a row. You have worked extraordinarily hard, for which we are grateful. But the one thing that will lift your spirits, apart from saying, as soon as we're finished, can you get out as quickly as possible for the sake of the Guild, is to know that in the absence of Phil Maelstrom, who's somewhere else, we've persuaded Colin to play the guitar for our closing blessing, or use other musical systems as he wishes. Will you stand for the benediction? Go in the love of Christ and the blessing of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, be among you now and remain with you always. Amen. May the Lord bless you. Colin.
May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and give you peace. And give you peace.
Good night. God bless and clear the building.